Stephanie White, you don't know how to challenge any single call on Caitlin Clark. It's happening right there in front of your face, in front of the bench, and you don't challenge nothing. And then that leads to her sitting in the fourth quarter because of 5 fouls, because you don't challenge nothing when it comes to Caitlin Clark. You are a joke. You are a bum. Your sorry ass needs to be fired. These refs are jokes, man. These refs cheating.
Stephanie White had one job last night: protect her best player. And she did not even try. Watch what happens every single time Caitlin Clark gets hit with a questionable foul call. White stands there, arms crossed, says nothing, challenges nothing, and lets it happen. Now, most coaches would tell you that is bad coaching. But what if it is not a mistake at all? What if Stephanie White already knows something that she is not telling anyone? By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why White refuses to fight for Caitlin Clark, and why her silence might be the most damning evidence in this entire season. If you are tired of watching Caitlin Clark get hammered with no calls while her own coach does nothing, hit subscribe right now, because this story is about to get a lot more uncomfortable. Here is the pattern that fans have been tracking all season. Caitlin Clark gets called for the most minor contact. Whistle blows immediately. Caitlin Clark gets elbowed, shoved, hit with real contact. Nothing. And every single time it happens, White has a challenge available. A tool built into the game specifically to fix exactly this kind of mistake. And every single time, she does not use it. Last night against Atlanta, fans watched it happen again. A call go against Clark. White standing right there, eligible to challenge, choosing not to. And when she finally did use a challenge, she used it on the wrong play entirely. Not the foul on Clark.
Look at this. That is not a foul. That is not a foul, people. Come on. And Stephanie White, you sitting there, Brian January, y'all trying to calm people down. Challenge the damn foul. How about y'all challenge the foul? What are y'all doing?
Fans in that arena were already booing before the second half even started. Now here is the question nobody inside that organization wants to answer. If this happened once, you could call it a mistake. If this happened twice, you could call it bad timing. But this has happened over and over again. The same player, the same missed calls, the same coach standing there in silence. So what is actually going on? Because there are only two explanations for this. Either Stephanie White is one of the worst tactical coaches in professional sports, unable to recognize when a challenge is needed, or she knows something the rest of us are only beginning to understand. Stay with me, because the second explanation is the one fans cannot stop talking about right now. Here is the theory that is spreading across every comment section. What if White already knows the officiating crews are not going to reverse calls against Clark? What if she has learned through an entire season of watching this happen that fighting it does nothing, that a challenge would just burn a timeout for no result? And if that is true, then White is not protecting Clark by staying quiet. She has already given up on protecting her. She has accepted that her own franchise player is going to absorb hit after hit, game after game. And instead of fighting that system, she is just letting it happen. Think about what that actually means. A head coach whose primary job is to put her players in the best position to succeed has apparently decided the best position for her franchise player is to take the punishment and say nothing. Now here is where this story gets even darker, because this is not just about missed foul calls anymore. This is about a pattern of decisions that fans have been documenting for months. Sophie Cunningham shooting at an incredible percentage from 3, barely getting the ball down the stretch. Lineup decisions that consistently take the ball out of Clark's hands in the biggest moments. A locker room that looked completely disconnected after losses. Players on the opposing bench laughing and exchanging handshakes with Fever players, while Indiana was losing. And through every single one of these moments, White's response has been the same. Silence. No explanation. No accountability. No fight. And fans have started connecting every single dot. Because if White is willing to stay silent while referees miss call after call against her best player, what else is she willing to stay silent about? Here is what makes this theory impossible to ignore. Beat reporters have started asking why White never challenges these specific calls, and the answers they get back are vague, generic. The kind of non-answer that makes you wonder what is actually being avoided. Because if the answer was simple, if this really was just a coaching oversight, you would expect a direct response. Instead, what fans are getting is silence dressed up as professionalism. And every single time that silence repeats itself, the theory gains more weight.
Come on, bro. That's not a foul. These refs are a joke. I think they are in on the sabotage. It is what it is. I think Stephanie White's a part of it. She's a dingbat. She's a dummy. She has no idea what she's doing. She don't challenge nothing when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
So let us talk about what this actually looks like in practice. Because the pattern is not subtle once you know what to look for. Clark drives into contact, gets hit, no call. White does not move toward the official's table, does not call timeout to discuss it, does not even appear to react with urgency. She waits. The game continues. And on the broadcast, you can see Clark's body language change. Frustration, resignation. The look of a player who has stopped expecting protection because she has learned the same lesson her coach apparently already knows.
Caitlin Clark, you mean to tell me she doesn't get a shot the whole fourth quarter? Caitlin Clark goes into the fourth quarter with 26 points and 7 assists. You know what she finished with? 26 points and 7 assists. She barely had the ball. She didn't get a single shot. She comes out with 5 fouls. When she don't put her back in until 3 minutes left. Then when Stephanie White puts her in, do you think Caitlin Clark is involved in the offense at all? No. If you wasn't going to involve her in the offense, you should have just kept her on the bench for Ty Harris then. What was the point of you putting her in if she wasn't going to be involved in the offense, Stephanie White?
Nobody is coming to fix this. And here is the moment that should concern every single Fever fan watching this video. If your head coach has reached the point where she does not even attempt to challenge calls against her franchise player, that tells you everything about how she views her own ability to influence this season. She is not fighting for change. She is managing decline. So here is the real question this video needs to leave you with. Is Stephanie White protecting Caitlin Clark by staying quiet? Or has she already decided that Clark absorbing this treatment is simply the cost of doing business in Indiana? Because those are two very different coaches. One is making a calculated decision to save her energy for battles she can win. The other has simply stopped trying. And right now, the evidence overwhelmingly points to the second one.
Refused to challenge anything when it came to Caitlin Clark. I don't get it, man. This is bull. This is BS. I am pissed. I am beyond pissed about this. I am furious, man. Disgusted with what I saw from the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark, you got to be more aggressive in the fourth quarter. But I feel like it's a lot of sabotage going on, man. The refs are cheating. Stephanie White is sabotaging her. This girl's getting sabotaged all around the board.
So tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you believe Stephanie White knows the system is rigged against Caitlin Clark and has simply given up trying to fight it? Or is this just bad coaching dressed up as a bigger conspiracy? And if you think Caitlin Clark deserves a coach who will actually fight for her, subscribe right now, because this story is not finished. And what comes out next about Stephanie White's silence is going to change how you watch every single Fever game from here on out.